In the current state of gaming, there's not really much gems anymore, at least in AAA companies. And usually, indie games have to take its spot. I mean, just look at me, I'm playing Risk of Rain 2 all the fucking time. That being said, I do want to take a break from Risk of Rain 2 and talk about a game called Pseudoregalia. I was bored one night and just decided to look on Steam. And in the new and trending section, there I found it. Now, from looking at it, it just looks like a PS1 game with just generic platform mechanics. However, it has been a long time since I played a 3D platformer, as it is an unappreciated genre, at least nowadays. So it looked interesting enough to give it a shot, and hey, it was $6, whatever. Now, before I start this review, I want to let you know that this is my first review, and this is the first time I'm not doing a video with a script. I just want to experiment with something other than Risk of Rain, like reviews. And I promise you, I'll review many other games in the future. Now, with all that said, let's get on with the review. Now, I will talk about the gameplay first, since obviously it's the most important aspect of any game, and Pseudoregalia absolutely nails it when it comes to movement mechanics. It just feels so nice when you get a good flow of the gameplay. Now, how this game works is that you first start off with just simple movement skills, which in the beginning is only jumping. However, as you continue to explore the dilapidated dungeon, you will eventually get your weapon, which is called Dreambreaker, and a slide ability. Now, this area of the game is linear, but once you get past the dilapidated dungeon, you arrive to Castle Sansa, which at this point of the game just becomes a Metroidvania. Now, you have to explore the whole map so you can get upgrades for your abilities, both movement and combat. There are also health upgrades, which you have to collect 3 of these gold things, and these green orbs that when collected improve the healing of your Dreambreaker. However, you don't need health or those healing upgrades to complete the game. On my first playthrough, I only had 4 circles for health, which the maximum you can have is I think 8, but it could be higher than that. However, that's not the point. The point is to get these white things. Now these babies give you special movement skills and combat abilities. And without some of them, the game's just impossible to complete. The amazing things about these abilities is just that they feel so good and work so well together that once you master them, you're gonna be smoothing. There's a lot of combos, secrets, and even exploits where you could just practically just speedrun this game. And I really love it for that. Now yeah, you all just limited to jumping and sliding, but once you unlock these movement abilities, it just feels so nice and rewarding once you get it all going together. Overall, the movement is just amazing. I just cannot stress it enough, and the controls just feel fluent with it. Which, funny enough, this game does have full controller support, although I think I prefer mouse and keyboard for this game. But hey, it's there if you want it. Now, I do want to talk about one mechanic that I'm kinda mixed about, and that is the combat. I did have fun with it, but it is very flawed. For one thing, the focus mechanic just does not work. Basically how it works is, rather than the camera just following you while you focus the enemy, Sybil just looks at the enemy. Yes, that's the goat lady's name, but I'll get on with that when I talk about the story. Anyways, this just does not work. It just feels so fucking janky at sometimes, especially when fighting the final boss. Especially the fact that she can just teleport every 2 fucking seconds. Like, at just sometimes the combat just does not work. And it's really just a shame, because this game would be so much fucking better if it had badass combat. Now, I know this is a 3D platformer and combat isn't the most important thing in the platformer, but you have games that are like this that have good ass combat. Think about like Banjo-Kazooie or Conker's Bad Fur Day, and personally one of my favorites, Ratchet and Clank. Not to mention the fact that the enemy variety in this game is just non-existent, and that there's only 2 bosses, which one of them is just reskinned to be a regular enemy. Now, it may just feel like that I'm just shading all over this game, but when it comes to reviewing things, I focus on the negatives way more than the positives when I'm reviewing something. And this game isn't objectively bad because of the mediocre combat. However, it just kind of felt like there was a lot left to be desired. That being said, there are a few positive things that I do like the combat for. For one thing, I really do like the fact that you can reflect projectiles back to the enemies, and they do damage. It feels awesome once you get the hang of it. Another mechanic that I like is that some enemies have some attacks that knock you on your ass and make you drop your weapon. At first glance, this may just seem like just an annoyance, but it feels so nice and satisfying just sliding into your weapon, picking it back up and continuing combat. Maybe it's just because I'm just some autistic bastard, but I really just like the attention to detail right there. Finally, the upgrades that you get for your weapon just feel so amazing. You can not only use it for combat, but you can use it for movement, or in some cases, it's just necessary to progress the game. Long story short, I had fun with it, but it could be so much better. Now that I talked about the gameplay, what about the story and goal? Pretty much the whole goal of the game is to get 5 major keys to unlock the final boss room. These keys are found in each section of the map except for Castle Sansa and Dilapidated Dungeon. Like Metroidvanias, they're all little keys where you can unlock little spots, but most of the time this is optional. Once you get your 5 keys, you unlock the door in which you proceed to fight the final boss, which is apparently a little goal from what the ending explains, but I don't know. The story isn't really much to talk about. You're just some goat lady named Sybil, who is still stunned by 99% of the players. Which I get, she has a nice body, but come on guys, we need to be better than this. Didn't you own anything from fucking Undertale? Anyway, Sybil comes out of a mirror and you spawn at the Dilapidated Dungeon. And pretty much you're in this dream world with very weird enemies, like some little guy playing a tuba, or this thing, whatever the fuck that is, or a possessed Pseudoregalia. Classic. And basically you're traversing this dream world while you're collecting these keys, and once you get all 5 keys, you open the great door. Once unlocked, a stairway to heaven appears and you walk up it, and you jump down the arena. Finally, you meet this princess and you have to battle her. And once defeated, she assumingly wakes up and she will always remember you as the savior of this terrible dream. Yeah, there's not really much to talk about the story, it's just simple. Now, there are a few tiny details of the game that I do like a lot. First and most importantly, the music. For the most part in this game, the music here are all simple loops, yet it's very catchy and very interesting to listen to. It makes me feel very immersed in this tiny dream world, and I will admit I hummed to some songs in this game. Another cool thing is the attire option. Basically, you can have costumes for Sybil, and my personal favorite is the professional one. It just fits better than just her wearing a vest and literally nothing else. But I don't know, you guys can customize it so she's not wearing pants at all if you guys are into that. Finally, the last detail is the graphics. This game was made in Unreal Engine 5, and let me just say, I love the fact that they use the PS1 or N64 style of graphics. Not only because of nostalgia, but the fact that they used it on Unreal Engine, which by the way is the common engine that everyone uses to make the games look realistic. It's just a breath of fresh air just to see something that looks like PS1 or N64 graphics. It just really fits the whole dream aspect of the game. And now for some cons. First of all, unlike many Metroidvanias, this game does not have a map, which will make some first playthroughs a pain in the ass to explore. However, I do advise not to look up a guide unless if it's the extreme last resort. I got through the game without a guide, and I'm sure you guys can figure it out too. Another issue is for a game that's $6, it kinda lacks content. The game on the first playthrough was about 2 or 3 hours long for me, at least. And there's really no replayability other than speedrunning and 100%ing a save. Finally, sometimes the movement has to be very precise. Now this may seem like a skill issue, which honestly it kinda is, but some parts of the game just feel like you need to be precise or else you just will fail. And I get it, that's the point of platformers, but it just doesn't really feel good sometimes, and when you're grappling, sometimes it just does not work. Other than that, that's really all I have against the game. So, do I recommend Pseudoregalia? Of course I do. I mean, you've seen the title after all. But in all seriousness, it was a great random find on Steam and a very fun experience even for just one playthrough. If it goes on sale, then 100% try it out. It's a very good game. But otherwise, if you want to pay $6 for this game, that's up to you. If you like Metroidvanias and 3D platformers, then oh hell yeah, get it 100%, even with the $6 mocha. Although I will say that I hope to see more content in the future if it does get any patches. And if this is somehow your first 3D platformer, then go outside your comfort zone and try it. I mean, worst case scenario, you'll just play it for 1 hour and just refund it. And I'll pretty much leave it at that. Try it out and have a fun time. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys later.